When Sarah inherited her grandmother's old Victorian house, she didn't think much of the warnings whispered by the neighbors. They claimed the house was cursed, that it wasn't just creaky floorboards or drafty windows causing the strange sounds at night. Sarah, a rationalist, dismissed the tales as superstitions and moved in without hesitation. The first few nights were peaceful, aside from the occasional noise she attributed to the old structure settling. But on the fourth night, as she lay in bed reading, she heard a distinct creak above her, the attic. She froze, her pulse quickening, remembering her grandmother's words. "Don't go into the attic after dark." She forced herself to ignore it and went to sleep. The next day, curiosity got the better of her. Armed with a flashlight, she climbed the narrow staircase to the attic. The air grew colder with each step, and an unsettling silence enveloped the space. The attic was cluttered with dusty furniture, old trunks, and yellowing photographs. In the far corner, a large antique mirror stood covered with a white sheet. Something about the mirror felt wrong, as if it were watching her. Sarah hesitated but eventually pulled the sheet off. The mirror was ornate, with intricate carvings along its frame, but its surface was dark and murky, refusing to show her reflection clearly. A faint, almost imperceptible shadow seemed to move within it. Shaking off her unease, she left the attic, deciding the mirror was just another peculiar antique her grandmother had collected. That night, she awoke to the sound of faint whispers. They were soft, unintelligible, and seemed to be coming from above. Gripping a flashlight, she decided to confront her fears. As she ascended the attic stairs, the whispers grew louder, morphing into a low, guttural hum. When she entered the attic, the air was icy, her breath visible in the dim light. The mirror stood uncovered, its surface no longer murky but gleaming. A figure stood inside it, a tall, shadowy entity with glowing, hollow eyes. Sarah froze, unable to move as the figure tilted its head and raised a finger, beckoning her. Terrified, she stumbled backward, but her flashlight flickered and went out. In the darkness, she heard footsteps, heavy, deliberate, and moving toward her. The air grew suffocating, filled with the stench of decay. The whispers became a deafening cacophony of voices, all screaming her name. She bolted down the stairs and locked the attic door, her heart pounding. But the next morning, the door was wide open, the mirror gone. She searched every corner of the house, but it had vanished without a trace. Weeks passed, and Sarah thought she was safe, until she began seeing reflections of the shadow in other mirrors around the house. It would stand there, motionless, watching her. And every night, as she lay in bed, she would hear the soft creak of footsteps coming closer. The house was never empty. Something had been waiting in the attic, and now it had found her. It had